Good morning and welcome to the Children's Chapel of Roslyn Hill Unitarian Church, Hampstead. If you've got a candle, now's a great time to light it with your family. We are the chapel of the open minds, the loving hearts, and of course, the helping hands. Let's pop it here. So, I hope you've had a wonderful week, and if you want to press the pause to reflect button to share your joys and concerns with your family, now is a fantastic time to do that. So the theme this week is still on deep listening, and I hope you've been using your ears and your heart to listen. And the subject this week is all about deep listening to the wise ones. The wise ones. That's an interesting couple of words there, isn't it? So who are the wise ones in our community? How do we gain wisdom, and who do we look to gain insight and do deep listening to when they're speaking so we can learn from them? Well, I'm fairly new to Unitarianism still, but I believe that we call the wise ones in our community, our seniors, we call them the elders, E-L-D-E-R-S, the elders. And the reason that we look to them is because, well, they've lived longer, they've been here longer on our planet, and they have many, many, many beautiful journeys to talk about, and insights and life experiences. So if we're going to listen and do deep listening in our community for everyone, we also need to pay special attention perhaps and listen really deeply to the wise ones. When I say that word, I think of owls being very wise and sitting and giving their wisdom out. So by listening to them and their journeys, we can help shape our own lives and our experiences. And we might have people in our community, elders at the chapel, but also in our own family lives as well, people we look to. So they could be older uncles or aunties or grandparents. Who do you have, and maybe you can explore this as a family in your life that you love to hear from? Maybe they sit with you and they tell you a bit about their lives and their growing up and their experiences. And how do you take time to listen to that and remember their stories and celebrate them and look at photographs and learn about how their lives and society has changed around them? Certainly when I was growing up, my grandfather used to talk a lot about growing up in the 40s. So I learned about the 1940s. So that was a long time ago now, and things were really different then. But some of what he says and what my grandma said, they still stay with me, and they help me learn about the world and make choices. So to celebrate that, I've put a special thing in the Wonder Box. I know the other day we had a lovely heart to do with listening with our heart. So what's in there today? Shall we have a look? Let me open it and find out. Oh, it's a bit yummy. Hold on. It almost just doesn't fit. It's some chocolate. I'm not advocating any particular kind of chocolate, but this is the kind of chocolate that my granddad, Franco, used to buy. And he used to buy this chocolate in a big bit like this, but he didn't eat it all at once. He used to take it out of its lovely purple shiny wrapper, and he used to divide up all the little squares inside. And then he used to get a packet of chocolate biscuits as well. And he used to put it in a special silver box, a bit like this, but silver. And he used to put it by a picture of my mum, so his daughter. And when I went to his house, he used to let me sometimes have a treat. And he used to sit with me while I had my treat and tell me something about his life. So whenever I see this chocolate, it makes me remember about listening and doing deep listening and learning. There's a good reason to think about chocolate, isn't it? So I thought I'd put that in the wonder box. So what do you think about when you think about your grandparents and what they might tell you? Or maybe you learn about them through your mummy and daddy. When I first came to chapel, I met two elders in the first visit who made a big impression on me. One was Jana, who I sat next to, and we had a discussion about our names in the discussion bit. And the second person was Margaret, and she was in the side aisle serving tea. And I felt so welcome. And I learned a lot from them, even in the first visit. And I thought, wow, this is the kind of community where obviously people talk and listen and learn. And I was so pleased that they were so warm to me. And I'm still grateful for that. So as a Unitarian, perhaps we could think about what kind of examples or what kind of things our elders do that we really like. So Jana was just so warm and she did good listening and she was really helpful and kind, and she let me share a seat next to her. And Margaret was very interested in why I was there, and she told me a bit about how long she'd been coming to chapel. And they both really set a good example of what I think it is to be a fantastic, excellent, amazing Unitarian. So those were the two elders that I met on my very first visit that helped shape that. So have a think about that with your family. And what I'd like to do now is share a story called The Two Crabs that talk about leading by example. And it's one of Aesop's fables. So we did the one about small kindnesses going a long way. Do you remember the lion with the mouse? This one is called The Two Crabs. One day, two crabs came out of their home to take a stroll on the sand. "Child," said the mother, "you are walking very ungracefully. You should accustom yourself to walking straight forwards." "Mother," said the young one, "set the example yourself and I will follow you." "Why in the world do you walk sideways like that?" said the mother crab to her son. "You should always walk straight forward with your toes turned out." "Show me how to walk, mother dear," answered the little crab obediently. "I want to learn." So the old crab tried and tried to walk forward, straight forward, but she could walk sideways only, like her son. And when she wanted to turn her toes out, she tripped and fell on her nose. What do you think's going on in the story? So really, even though she told her son how to walk straight forward, she herself could only walk sideways. The moral of this story being, do not tell others how to act unless you can set a good example. What do you think about that? Imagine being a little crab like that with your mummy crab, and the mummy crab says, "Oh, you're not walking right. You need to walk a certain way." And so you try, but you think, it's a bit funny if I'm being told to walk a different way and you yourself, mummy, are walking sideways and you can't walk forward like you're telling me to. What do you think? What do you think about that? Have you ever been told to do something? I know I said to Isabel once in a cafe, I said, take off your coat, Isabel, because otherwise when we go outside, you're going to feel chilly. You won't feel the effect of putting back on your coat. And I remember she looked at me and she said, Mummy Katie, you've got your coat on. You haven't taken your coat off. And I thought about that. And I thought, do you know what? I should show a good example and really think and listen before I make judgments on other people. I've got to show a good example with what I do so that people want to take deep listening and they want to act in the right way. And perhaps as a family you can explore that idea through the simple story of the two crabs. You know, and also your aspirations. What is it about coming to chapel, thinking about Unitarianism, your open minds, your loving hearts, and your helping hands, and the examples that you set? I know that my granddad, with his chocolate, would often slow down when he was busy and do crazy things like teach me how to count to 10 in French in the car. While he was parking the car, just because it seemed like a good idea, or he'd stop to sniff the lavender on the way to the shops, or he'd eat a boiled egg with me and then he'd turn it upside down so the shell looked like another boiled egg and make a joke out of it, you know. And these are the good examples, the things that I think I wanted to take out of our experiences together and share with my family. And so the narrative continues. There we are. We've gone through that really fast, but I hope it made a good impression, a deep impression on you of something that is just so special. I know that some of our elders actually don't have access to the internet, so they wouldn't be able to watch YouTube like you're watching it now. And they haven't been able to join the Zoom adult services or side aisle Zooms. And Shana says there's about eight people in our community who don't have access to the internet. I'm guessing they're the more elderly people in our community, but they might not be. Regardless, anyway, I thought if any of you wanted to make or write something about chapel, about your experiences there, or something that an elder or the wise ones have done that's made a big impression on you. It could be offering biscuits to everyone in the side aisle. It could be, what could it be? It could be making space for some of their friends around the table when we do potluck lunch. All those things. Maybe you could draw a nice picture or write something. Doesn't have to be too long. And if you wanted to share it, Shana and I haven't asked her it yet actually, but maybe we could send them. You don't have to put your name to it. It can be anonymous, but it's just a way to reach out to the wisest ones and to know that they're not forgotten. In fact, we're ready. We want to stay in contact and we want to continue our deep listening with their stories and experiences. So that could be an activity for you. You could even do perhaps a picture of the two crabs on the beach or wherever they are. That would be so lovely. Or by a rock pool. Ooh, that would be nice. As we leave this friendly place, love, give light to every face. May the kindness that we learn through our wise ones and otherwise light our hearts until we return. Lots of love. Take care and have a fantastic